The Kitchen Family Gardener, Part 2, by Robert Buist. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Bologna Times. The Family Kitchen Gardener, by Robert Buist. On Implements. It is not our intention to go into a detail of all the useful articles connected with the culture of the garden, which would take us beyond our limits. Our object will be only to point out those most useful and essential to carry on the cultivation of the soil. The materials of which they are composed are chiefly of iron and wood. The best quality of both should be used. Nothing purchased merely for its being cheap. The cheapest is the best and most durable to accomplish the end. The spade is a very common tool, and should be of steel, with a hickory or ash handle, having 2 rivets through its head. Number 2 of the manufacture is the most convenient size. Some American spades are equal to any of British manufacture. The rake should be of the best wrought iron, with teeth about 2 inches long and apart. The head is of any size, from 6 to 20 inches. There are also rakes of malleable iron, and wooden rakes with steel teeth. The latter sort are very convenient for rough ground. The handle should be round, made of pine or any other light wood, and from 6 to 8 feet long. Beet rake. This very useful implement is composed of hard wood with steel teeth, obtusely pointed, about 2 inches wide, 5 inches long, and from 9 to 12 inches apart. It is exceedingly useful for drawing drills in which to sow beets, carrots, onions, and all small seeds or roots. In using it, strain the line and draw with some strength. When 3 drills will be made at once, saving the labor of moving the line so frequently as when the work is accomplished by the hoe. Hoes are of many and varied descriptions, sizes, and shapes. This guide gives an idea of the most useful. They should be of the very best of steel, with rather strong round handles, 5 feet long. They range in sizes from 3 to 10 inches. Those of 3, 5, 7, and 9 inches are generally used. Pronged hoes are very useful, indeed indispensable, for stirring the soil and destroying weeds. They are of steel or malleable iron, the latter generally used, though the former is preferable, with handles 4½ feet long. The Dutch or scuffle hoe is very useful for cleaning walks and cutting weeds where the ground is of a light nature. It is also called a thrust hoe, being used by pushing from you, in contradistinction to the draw hoe, which is best adapted for all heavy work. The reel and line. The reel is of wood or iron. The latter is preferable. It consists of 2 parts, the shank and the head. The head turns round on the shank and winds up the line or cord, which can be of any length. The trowel is very useful for removing plants and lifting them with balls of earth for transplanting. It should be of the best iron or steel, with a square socket into the handle, and from 5 to 9 inches long, exclusive of the handle. The dibber is a short piece of round wood, generally made from an old spade or shovel handle, about 1½ feet long, obtusely pointed, frequently shod with iron on the one end, and conveniently formed for the hand on the other. It should be well made, as it is of very general use, and if iron shod will last half a century. Garden watering pot. Of this utensil there are several sizes. Those that hold from 3 to 4 gallons are of the proper dimensions. They should be made of the best double tin, having 2 roses the one pierced with holes the 20th, the other the 40th part of an inch. Keep them well painted, and when not in use, the mouth downwards. The grass edging iron or knife is for cutting the turf of grass borders or walks. It should be of the very best steel, with a round, strong handle about 3½ feet long. Garden hook for dressing hedges, made of the very best steel, having a handle of an oval form, of strong wood 3 feet long, and of a small size that the hand may conveniently grasp. Garden shears are of various sizes, from 8 to 12-inch blades, and used for cutting edgings of box, clipping hedges, and many other purposes. They are of great variety and quality. The 7 and 9-inch sizes are most convenient. Ladies' shears. These are of the very best material, neatly made, for the use of ladies who take a delight in gardening operations. Grass edging shears. These are made expressly for cutting grass edgings, and have a wheel that rests on the walk while the shears trim off the grass. It is very convenient and expeditious implement. Hand glass. These are made of red cedar or cast iron. The latter is most neat and durable. It consists of 2 parts, the bottom and top. A useful utensil for growing seeds of early celery, tomato, eggplant, or any other article of early culture. Also well adapted for covering cauliflower plants when the winters are not very severe. When air is to be given to the plants enclosed, it is done by lifting up the top and replacing it diagonally. By this means air is freely admitted. A glass case may be made of any height with these hand glasses, by merely placing the bottom frames one upon the other. Those we use are of cast iron, and cost $3.50 each in 1847. A sunk pit is in part in the earth and partly above it, by forming sides of brick, stone, locust, chestnut, or cedar boards. On these, glass frames are sometimes placed, and at other times only mats or shutters. Such pits answer for the preservation of vegetables, such as endive, celery, lettuce, cauliflower, broccoli, etc. Air is given on all occasions, when it can be done with safety, by propping up the sash or shutters. The walled pit is also partly sunk into the ground, and partly out. The walls are formed of brick or stone, finished with a wooden or stone coping, the width of the wall, into which cross rafters are mortised but movable to support the sashes. One object in having them movable is to admit of their being raised as the growth of cauliflowers or any other plants require. This is readily done by having a strong 2-inch plank made to fit the back and front of the pit, and to the rest on the coping. The rafters to rest on these planks, either by mortising holes for the reception, or to have them to rest on cleats. This is a great convenience, and overcomes the difficulty every grower feels when his cauliflowers touch the glass. There is no appendage to the garden of greater utility than this pit. It is 2 feet underground, 1 foot above it in front, and 2 feet above it at the back, and 6 or 7 feet wide in the clear. It is an excellent winter apartment for plants when covered with sash and mats. When filled with very rich earth, it grows fine cauliflowers that will be in use from March to May. If filled with warm manure early in February, it will grow cucumbers that will be in use from April to July, or grow radishes and small salading in quantity. In summer, the sashes can be used for growing fine varieties of grapes. see our article on fruits. Sash Light. Made of yellow or the best seasoned white pine, 1 to 2 inches thick, the sash should be 3 feet 8 inches wide and 6 or more feet long. The glass we prefer is 6 by 6 or 6 by 8 and of the best quality. The wood must have 2 coats of oil paint before glazing, and at least 1 coat afterwards. All the glass must be bedded in soft putty. The lapse of the glass should not exceed half an inch. 1/4 of an inch, if well done, is quite sufficient. A sash well painted and protected when not in use will last from 30 to 40 years. The smaller the panes of glass, the less will be the damage from breakage. The common hotbed frame is a box of wood, bottomless, of any length or breadth to suit the object in view, but generally 6 feet wide and from 6 to 16 feet long, highest at the side to be placed to the north and subdivided by crossbars, and each division covered by a glazed sash. The component parts of the above frame, instead of being mortised into one another, should be fastened with hooks and staples, or keyed iron bolts, which easily admit of their being taken asunder and put under cover when they are not wanted for use. I have about 100 sashes that can be taken apart and stowed away or erected in one day. Vegetable or kitchen garden, with a select assortment of fruit combined. This arrangement affords great facilities for cropping the ground and rotation of crops. It also confines the trees to one place, for the purpose of giving a partial shade to the main walk in summer, without injuring any of the vegetables. This plan is decidedly preferable to the mode of distributing the trees over the garden. A main entrance. B. A grapevine arbor. C. A border of 10 or 12 feet wide all around the garden, for the smaller and finer sorts of vegetables. D. Compartments for vegetables in quantity, divided by alleys. E. Row of choice pear trees on each side of the walk, affording shade. F. Rows of dwarf trees, either plum, quince, peach, or the plum stock, apricots, or dwarf pears. G. Large compartments, surrounded by currant and raspberry bushes, for early corn, early potatoes, or any vegetables of which a large quantity is grown. If situation will admit of it, the pits or frames can be in these quarters portioned off by a low hedge. Garden seeds for half an acre. The following seeds, with judicious management, will fully crop a garden of half an acre, which will supply a moderate-sized family with vegetables throughout the year. Vegetable seeds, where carefully grown in this country, are, with a few exceptions, preferable to those imported, but the utter carelessness manifested by many in keeping them apart when growing is not to be recommended. 1 ounce asparagus, 3 quarts beans of sorts, 4 ounces beetroot, 1/4 ounce broccoli, 1/4 ounce cauliflower, 4 ounces cabbage of sorts, 1/4 ounce celery, 8 ounces cress, 1/2 ounce cucumber, 1 ounce carrot, 1 quart early corn, 1 packet eggplant, 1½ ounce endive, 1/4 ounce leek, 1 quart lima beans, 1 ounce lettuce of sorts, 4 ounces mustard, 1/2 ounce melons, 1/2 ounce okra, 2 ounces onions of sorts, 1 pap parsley, 1 ounce parsnips, 1 pap peppers, 1/2 ounce pumpkin, 8 quarts peas, 8 ounces radish, 1/2 ounce salsify, 1/2 ounce squash, 8 ounces spinach, 1 pap tomatoes, 2 ounces turnip, 6 pap pot and sweet herbs. Cost about $10. Seeds should always be kept in bags, in a dry, airy situation. Wall closets and cellars are objectionable, from their dampness. All seeds will keep 2 and many from 3 to 6 years. End of The Family Kitchen Gardener, Part 2.